Hi guys, this is Michael from Nomadic Insights. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the TransferWise debit card or the Wise card. I think it's really weird they changed their name from TransferWise to Wise as a part of a rebrand. It seems like everybody decided it was time for a rebrand last year. In this video, we're going to be covering the costs associated with the Wise card and whether or not I think it's a good choice compared to the alternatives. So let's take a quick look at the features of this card to get started. As always, if you have any questions about becoming a digital nomad or global finance, feel free to join our Discord community or join us for our live stream on Sundays at 11 a.m. EST, Skeptic Sunday, where we're focused on ideas to help you live a more full life and get better results from your personal finances. Thanks so much. Let's dive into it. When I lived in Spain, I loved using TransferWise. It was the simplest and most convenient way to transfer money between my American bank account to my Spanish bank account. This TransferWise or international money transfer was beautifully done and was the main advantage of using their service. It has a much cleaner UI even today than Western Union or other money transfer competitors like Zoom, has low fees, and really is a great product for what it does, which is letting you transfer money. Now, there has been mission creep, and they have gotten into a lot more things than transferring money, such as having a global bank account that is not a bank account set up for you, which allows you to use a debit card associated with that account or wallet. Whether or not that's actually good is outside the scope of this video. Personally, I do think we need to focus on the two areas where fees are charged and what differentiates TransferWise from its competitors. There is something called a mid-market rate that is charged in currency conversion. So the mid-market rate is the actual market rate for currency conversions between US dollars and euros. TransferWise gives you the mid-market rate on all of your transactions. The mid-market rate is the common rate that is used by Visa and MasterCard to settle transactions when you make a point-of-sale purchase in a foreign currency. That is one of the major areas where TransferWise differentiates itself in that it gives you the actual foreign exchange rate when you make a transfer. This isn't really as clear with the debit card, and there are a couple things as we go into the Wise card that personally I would stay away from, but it's very important to bear in mind this mid-market rate is really what you need to watch in addition to the transfer fees that a bank might charge. So let's go here now. Okay, so the most international debit card in the world with no sneaky fees at all. Bold claim, bold claim. We'll give it to him for a second here. So you could get hit with a fee just by the ATM owner with something called dynamic currency conversion if you make a debit card withdrawal. If you pick to have the transaction denominated in USD instead of the local currency, lo and behold, you're going to get raked over the coals with that exchange rate. So there are ways for you to get screwed on foreign transactions, irrespective of what card you use. So always pick that local currency. If you're in Spain, choose euros. That way it's settled by the transfer association or the exchange network, in this case MasterCard, using the mid-market rate. So with TransferWise, they make a claim of zero transaction fees, or they're applying zero administrative fees to your card transactions compared to big name banks and the other big player in the transfer space, which is PayPal. This is a little disingenuous when you actually look at the fees. So much for transparent marketing, because if we actually go under Wise card fees for the United States or US residents, let's see. So you'll end up paying, converting money, fees vary by currency, from 0.41%. So on a foreign transaction card or a card like my Amex Platinum, for example, there is no markup necessarily on that conversion, but they are making money when they convert the money for you between your accounts. So there is a 0.41% fee at minimum associated with using the card. Then when you're actually making an ATM withdrawal, they do charge an administrative fee of 2% plus $1.50 per transaction. If you use a US card like, let's say the Capital One 360 or the Charles Schwab card, there's none of this 2% fee malarkey. There will always be some sort of interchange fee set by the network owner. This could be set by Amex, MasterCard, or Visa. There's no way around those fees. UnionPay has this as well for those of you in China. There's no way to avoid that fee on the currency markup. Wise, however, on the currency rates is charging you an additional fee. It's a little bit hidden here, but for most of us, I would consider a foreign transaction fee to also include the currency fee, but this is on fees. So when you spend with your card in a dollar denominated account, unless you've already converted it into the local currency, when it draws from that balance, it's going to charge you a fee. Not a huge fan of this. I am not a huge fan of this. I think that is actually a little sneaky here. And then when you have ATM withdrawals, I just try to avoid cash as much as possible. In some countries, it's difficult because they have much more of a cash-driven economy. Debit cards have less security for Americans. There's just a whole bunch of cons here. But the 2% fee compares really poorly compared to Capital One or Charles Schwab. Let's just briefly talk about the alternatives to a Wise debit card. It could be that based on your country of origin, there is a valid reason to use the Wise card. Personally, I don't see that as an American. There are two better alternatives, Capital One 360 or a Charles Schwab investor account that don't have markups on FX fees. And in the case of Charles Schwab, will actually reimburse you for international ATM fees as well as ATM fees in the United States. So personally, those are the accounts I've used and I've been very happy with them. I don't see a great reason for Americans to get a Wise card. For people living in Europe or other countries, the Wise debit card might make a lot of sense. It looks like in the UK, Wise's fees tend to be a bit lower than British banks on foreign transfers when you're looking at major big box British banks. But again, I don't cover the UK financial products. I cover American financial products. And from that end, I'm a hard pass on the Wise card. I don't see the value for Americans. Western Union now has lower transaction costs on transfers. So even at its core game of money transfer, there are some caveat imperators with Wise these days. I still use Wise for money transfers. I think it's a much better experience than Western Union, which looks really bad. It's not a pretty sight to use. Wise's design is a lot better. But personally, again, for people who are not Americans, the Wise debit card could be a solid A-tier choice based on the low foreign transaction fees compared to foreign transaction fees that are levied by banks in your home country or by issuers. But again, as an American, for me, I'd put it in probably a C or a D tier compared to the other debit card options like Charles Schwab or Capital One 360 Checking, which are the two choices I recommend. Thanks so much for watching this video. As always, if you have any questions about digital nomad finance, international travel in general, please join our Discord community and feel free to join us for our live stream show, Skeptic Sunday. Thanks so much, guys.